just the story that he tell about, him helping his dad, and everything he was trying to do. I think in the beginning you were trying to fit in, you were trying to find, new friends, like-minded people. And he actually did find that, and to this day, he's probably one of the hardest working kids. He has a story that really, drives him every single day with myself. And he's actually a bronze leader, been doing the business for about 2 months. And like I said, just the story he has obviously, drives him every day. And just, he's going to be talking about the credibility triangle, so all of you can get your notepads out. But yeah, Dylan Martino.
How's it going, everybody? Super pumped up. I thought I was going to be nervous to come up here, but I look out in the crowd, and this is just my family here. This is everyone that these are the people that I look forward to seeing every day. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a concept here called the credibility triangle. I'm just going to, briefly go into myself real quick, just to kind of give you a background for those of you who don't know me in here. So, my name is Dylan Martino. I'm 20 years old. I'm originally from Rhode Island. I moved up here when I was like 11 years old. And, not a great student in high school, graduated from Nipmuc Regional High School in 2011. Went to college that following semester after the summer at Quinsigamond Community College. I don't know if any of you guys go there. Not very fun. It's a commuting college. There's no dorm rooms or anything like that. So you just kind of show up for a lecture and then go home. It's terrible. And, to me, at the end of the week, I was like, well, my job pays me, and I'm paying to go to these lectures, so I might as well just work a job. So I ended up getting a second job, working 2 jobs, like 60 hours a week, 7 days a week. And literally, I did a day off like every 2 weeks, and a day off from both jobs. And most of my days were like, I would wake up, have to be at my first job, Home Depot, $9 an hour at 7 in the morning, work there until 4, and then I had to be at my second job at Domino's for 6, and work until 1 a.m., then be back at Home Depot for 7 in the morning the next day. Does anyone in here think they want to live their life like that? 3 days in a row, getting out of work at 1 a.m. and having to be at work at 7 a.m. Terrible. And I definitely saw that I was getting really miserable. Waking up in the morning, I have no drive, no motivation. What am I doing in my life? I don't have a purpose. And I was kind of looking for something to better myself. I didn't know, I had no direction. And the thing about my situation was I didn't have a lot of time freedom, but in my free time I did try to hang out with some friends. But unfortunately, the friends that I was hanging out with, the relationships that I had created for myself, were very unhealthy. I had a lot of friends who, they lived, 22, living in their mom's basement, working 20 hours a week, and then spending all that money on drugs and alcohol, and just sitting in the basement and smoking and drinking, and going nowhere with their life. And I didn't want to be a part of that. I heard this quote once that you are the 5 people you surround yourself with most. So if you look around your friends, who are the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with, if they're all going nowhere, guess what? You're going to go nowhere. If you want to better yourself, surround yourself with 5 people that are better than you. Then inevitably you're going to become better. And I told my friends, I'm sorry guys, I love all of you, but I can't keep doing this. I can't go down the road you're going. I need to find like-minded individuals who are all about bettering themselves. I need to find people who are going to sit down with me, help me, and work together with me to reach a common goal. And the main part of that was changing my mindset, changing my life. Does anyone here in this room want to change their current situation? Yeah. Do you know how to do that? Do you have any direction? In order to change your life, you need to challenge your life. What's the word challenge without LLE in the middle? Change. There you go. So if you want to change the situation you're in, don't be insane. Don't do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. The definition of insanity. I heard about Bima through a few relationships. Keep that word in mind there. And, basically a friend of mine who I used to work with introduced this to me. He doesn't do this anymore. And, when I started, I didn't have much direction. I didn't have any direct upline support. My closest upline was Steve Celilara, who unfortunately couldn't be here. He's working, but he kind of helped me out with this thing, showed me what to do, because my direct uplines all did nothing. And they were all useless. And they, not motivated. But guess what? I was going to make this thing happen because I had a strong reason why I wanted to do this. And if anyone's curious about that, come find me after. But I'm going to break down this concept here. This is the most important part. This is a training. I'm not going to keep talking about myself. So Jeremy, if you could throw up the original credibility triangle, that'd be awesome. Yeah, the other one.
Sorry about that, Dylan.
It's all right. So this is the credibility triangle. Basically, this just shows in any situation in this, there's three parts, right? There's you, your guest, and your upline. If there's not three parts, then you're doing it wrong. When you're new in this business, you can't expect to go out there and do this on your own. Trust me, I thought I could. People in my network thought they could. You go out there, you're so excited about this, you just want to tell everybody. You go out and then you try to break down the whole concept. Guess what? First question they ask that you can't answer, you've lost them. You've lost. You need to have that credibility before you go out and go do this sort of thing. That's why you have uplines. That's why we're up here, so you can leverage our success to start creating your own. And, there's things like the three-way invite and stuff like that, which Jay will talk about, or whoever's replacing Jay. But the way this works, everything needs to work in unison for any sort of invite, any sort of event, whatever. You need to get with your upline. You need to edify your upline. There's a relationship here between you and your upline. It's called the edification relationship. And that doesn't go one way. Yeah, you edify your upline. You make him look good. That's all edification is. It's not bragging or boasting. It's making your upline credible, which is along the other side. But at the same time, if you're an upline, you need to edify your downlines. You can't expect that, oh, well, I was edified, I'm going to get up here and, break this whole thing down. You need to talk up your downlines. Tell that guest that they brought with them. You're with the right person. This person who brought you here is absolutely amazing. And they're going to make this thing happen. Grab onto his belt, and you'll be successful one day, I promise. That's edifying your downline. And if there's nothing, if he hasn't achieved success or anything yet, you can still edify him. Talk about his personality. Oh yeah, this kid is super motivated. He was always a hard worker. I knew him in high school. This is the right person you want to be with. Edification isn't necessarily about financial standing. Isn't necessarily about, business skills. Edification is about personal skills, personal, personality, whatever you want to say there. But, so you edify your upline. This makes your upline look credible to your guest. Why do you need credibility between your upline and your guest? You need credibility because, say I'm some, random person, getting on a call from my downline. It's his friend. He knows him. The guest knows you. They don't know your upline. If I get on there as an upline, start breaking down some kind of random concept he's never heard before, why is he going to listen to me? I'm just a random person. You can go on, Omegle or whatever and talk to random people. If that's what he wanted to do, I'm sure that's what he would be doing. So you need to establish that credibility with your upline. You need to make sure that your upline is, at least in their mind, okay, this guy's successful, this guy's taking time out of his day to talk to me. Maybe I should listen to what he has to say. That way your guest feels more comfortable. Your guest is more likely not only to listen to them, but to take what they have to say with more value. To take what they have to say in a way that's going to actually, influence them and maybe change their thought process. Because that's all it says. We're changing people's paradigms. If anyone knows what that means. Basically changing people's mindsets. And of course, the most important part of this is a trust relationship. You need to have trust between you and your guest. You're not going to hit up someone that you haven't talked to in 4 years and get them to an event. It doesn't work that way, guys. I see my downlines do this all the time. Oh, I'm going to call this kid. I went to high school with him. If someone called me from high school who I haven't talked to in 4 years, I'm going to look at my phone, what the heck is this kid doing calling me? Why am I going to answer that? Right? What if you establish a relationship with them first? Maybe you hit them up on Facebook one week. Maybe you hang out with them the next week. Don't mention FEMA. Maybe that third week you call them, try to get a three-way invite in. Oh, wow, this kid was talking to me last week. I'm actually going to answer the phone now. You need to have some sort of trust relationship. They need to think that you're looking out for them and you're not just, oh, why is this kid calling me? Clearly he thinks of me as a dollar sign. That's not what this is about. This is about helping your friends, guys. It's about getting up here, telling your story so that you can help people do the same thing. This isn't about getting people to order product. So, with that trust relationship, there has to be, some sort of communication. And there's different ways to build relationships with people. And there's a whole, relationship building training that if you guys need to get in touch with me to get, then I'll get you that. But, you know, with those relationships, everything in this credibility triangle is based on relationships. Those relationships hold things together. I heard about Bima through a few relationships. Everyone in this room is here because they had a relationship with somebody who knew someone who knew what was going on. It's those relationships that make this whole thing happen, and that's why the credibility triangle is so important, because without it, you can't go anywhere. So, Jeremy, if you could throw on that second slide when we get up there. You know, calling an old friend is always kind of nerve-wracking, and that's why I say talk to him first. Send him a Facebook message one week. You know, hey, how are you? How's things going? Just get a conversation going, so that way when you actually call him, he answers. But you need to maintain those relationships and constantly build them. So this actually, I doubt anyone here has ever seen this before, because I'm pretty sure I just made it up. But what I wanted to represent here, I'm all about looking at things a different way. I'm all about perceiving things in ways you haven't perceived them before. I'm a huge believer in the secret, the law of attraction, everything like that. So if you look at this year, the three of you are in a triangle. Imagine there's a force pushing you apart. We're going to call this the exciting force pushing everyone apart. Everyone's so pumped up, they just want to go in every direction and tell everyone. They don't want to stay with those people that know what they're doing. They want to run and they're so excited they don't even know what they're doing. You guys need to stick together. You, your guests, and your upline, you need to make it work as a unit. Imagine that these relationships are walls keeping you in there. And if one of those are broken, then guess what? He's going to go flying out the bottom. The other guy's going to go flying out the top. You need to maintain those relationships to work together. And in order to maintain those relationships, you need communication. When communicating with your team, you know, staying in touch with everyone, what this does is basically it forces you to keep in touch with your team and to work with your team. Because if you're communicating on a regular basis, if you're maintaining those relationships with everyone, then you're more likely to work together, you're more likely to be productive when you're together, and you're more likely to see success in this business, because this business is all about relationships. I mean, there's different types of relationships. They definitely apply to everyone. Strengthening your relationships is the best way to strengthen your Bima business. You need to go out there and create as many relationships as possible. If you've been in this for a few months, you introduce this to your warm market, relationship building is the #1 skill besides self-development that you need to get into your head. Self-development, someone will go over in a second. But, if you want to learn something about relationship building, go hang out with Chris Pressey and his team. You know, a little while ago I was out there at Fitchburg State University. He has a few people out there. And the culture out there is amazing. It's like a family. You know, that's my team. We're a family. Everything needs to be locked together. You go out there and, experience this where everyone's just literally like, let's go out to dinner, guys. Let's not even talk. We're a family. Let's establish those relationships. Let's let's have a YPR night. Let's have a big sleepover or something. You maintain those relationships. That's almost more important than talking about business. You need to have a solid, strong relationship. You need to be a family. You need to go out there and have that culture where everyone feels comfortable around each other. And I mean, I came up here, I'm speaking in front of 150 people right now. Before Bima, I couldn't do this. This is what Bima's done for me. I swear to God, everyone, anyone who knew me before Bima, they know this is true. Literally, if I got invited to a party, I was that awkward kid that sat in the corner. And I literally would just, not talk to anybody. And then the next time there was a party, I didn't get invited because I was too awkward. I was so socially awkward. And that was the biggest thing for me. I had stopped hanging out with all my friends because they were dead-end friends. But I didn't know how to go out and make friends because I was so socially awkward. I was so worried about what people thought of me. And this kind of opened my mind, this whole thing. Andy Cometa changed my life. He probably didn't even realize it when he was doing it. He absolutely changed my life for the better. A while ago, back in July, we had one of these trainings. It wasn't a regional, it was mainly for the people in the area. But he was throwing it down, getting everything ready. He called upon the crowd. I need 3 people to come up here and tell their whys. 3 hands went up in the crowd. One of those hands was mine. I'd never spoken in front of anybody, had nothing prepared, had no idea. Went up there, told my why. From that day, I can now speak in front of people. Anthony Cometa changed my life for the better. Clap up there. I don't want to spend too much time with you. We have a lot of speakers. I'm going to end on this here. I mean, there's a lot of people in this room I haven't met. I think I went around and shook everyone's hands. If not, definitely get in touch with me, get my number. Ladies, just kidding. But let's make this thing happen, guys. I'm completely ready to go out there with any person in this room. I don't care if you're upline, downline, crossline. Get with me. We'll work. I'll help you build your relationships, and we'll make this thing happen. Thank you.